The Dream in the Alley. In a quiet alleyway nestled between the bustling streets of a small European town, two orange kittens, Momo and Sora, huddled beneath an abandoned bicycle. They weren't just ordinary kittens, they were dreamers. Momo, the elder by a few hours, was the idea maker. Sora, bright-eyed and full of curiosity, was the heart. Every night, after the baker closed his shop and the last tram clattered by, Momo would tell stories of warm windows, humans with kind hands, and endless trays of tuna sandwiches. One evening, as the moonlight painted silver puddles on cobblestone, Momo turned to Sora and whispered, "What if we opened a cafe? For us and for them?" Sora blinked. "But we're just kittens." Momo smirked. "Even kittens can dream." Chapter 1. The First Biscuit. The alley cats laughed when Momo announced the plan. "A cafe?" snorted Clawford, the grizzled tomcat who ruled the trash bins. "Next, you'll want cappuccinos with your kibble." But Momo was undeterred. With Sora's help, they began scouting for a space. A week later they found it, a cozy, abandoned tea house at the edge of the park, its wooden sign faded, its windows dusty but intact. The place needed work, but it had charm. Sora pawed at an old stool and mewed, this could be the purring corner. They began cleaning, sweeping with their tails, dusting with their fur, and arranging old cushions they found in the attic. One morning they woke to find a tray of butter biscuits on the doorstep. Attached was a note, scribbled in childlike handwriting. For the Orange Kittens. Love, Ava. Chapter 2. Ava and the Early Buzz. Ava, a 10-year-old who loved animals and lived nearby, became their first human helper. She brought tea bags, old mugs from her grandma's shelf, and helped string fairy lights across the ceiling. The kittens couldn't speak, but their expressive eyes said everything. Word began to spread. Locals peeked into the little shop, surprised to find two orange kittens running the show. Sora served warm milk in tiny saucers, and Momo offered snuggles in exchange for treats. Ava drew a sign, Paws and Whiskers Cafe, now open. Chapter 3, Building a Team. The kittens needed help. So they recruited Luna, a Siamese with a knack for balancing pastries. Benny, a lazy but lovable Maine Coon who warmed laps. Nico, the tech-savvy cat who somehow figured out the coffee machine. Together, they turned the cafe into a full-blown feline hangout. Each corner had something special, the biscuit basket, the catnap loft, and the Meowgazine lounge. Chapter 4, Cafe Fame and Paparazzi. One day a travel blogger wandered in. She took a photo of Sora perched on a scone tower and posted it with the caption, "Cutest cafe in the world, run by cats." The post went viral. Tourists flocked from everywhere. Lines formed down the block. People came for the novelty but stayed for the calm. The cafe became a sanctuary. It wasn't just about coffee or cuddles, it was about connection. Chapter 5, Trouble in Paradise. With fame came challenges. Health inspectors arrived, raising eyebrows. Who's running this place? Momo meowed loudly. Ava stepped up. I'm the manager. These are my partners. She showed them the cleanliness logs, the permits she had quietly secured with her parents' help, and the cafe's community impact. Donations to shelters, therapy visits to hospitals, and even a reading corner for kids. The cafe was allowed to stay, with one condition. Someone human had to always be on site. Chapter 6, Paws Across Borders. Inspired, Momo proposed an idea. What if other cats opened cafes around the world? They began hosting workshops. Cats from Paris, Istanbul, and even Tokyo came to learn. The cafe started streaming events. Fans tuned in to watch cats teach cats, sometimes chaotic, always heartwarming. They called it the Global Purrgram. Chapter 7, Legacy and Whiskers. Years passed. Ava grew up but never left the cafe. Momo and Sora, a little slower now, still greeted guests at the door. Their story became a children's book, a short film, and even a musical. But through it all, the heart remained the same. A dream shared in an alley. A cafe run on love. Chapter 8, A New Generation. Ava, now in her 20s, became a vet and animal advocate. She trained local kids to care for stray cats, using the cafe as a learning hub. Momo and Sora mentored the younger kittens, like Tigra the tabby chef and Boop, the mute white kitten who painted with her paws. Paws and Whiskers became more than a cafe. It was a movement, a place where strays found purpose and people found peace. On their 10th anniversary, a statue was unveiled in the park. Two orange kittens curled around a steaming cup of tea. The plaque read, "To those who dream while small. You are never too tiny to change the world." Chapter 9, The Cataversity. With growing popularity and impact, Ava expanded the cafe into a full educational center called the Cativersity. Here, children learned about animal welfare, responsible pet ownership, and even storytelling through the eyes of kittens. Guest speakers included local artists, international animal behaviorists, and famous pet influencers. Ava's mission was clear: to bridge human and animal empathy through learning. The Cativersity held graduation ceremonies for kittens, with tiny caps, yarn diplomas, and proud purrs echoing through the halls. The media adored it. Chapter 10, Meow Talents and Music Nights. On Friday nights, the cafe turned into a mini theater. Meow Talent Night featured performances like Luna's synchronized pastry flips, Boop's paw painting exhibitions, Momo and Sora's dramatic retelling of their alleyway dreams using shadows and tail gestures. The community gathered for warm cookies, milk teas, and laughter. Local musicians wrote songs inspired by the cafe, and soon a compilation album titled Whisker Waltz was released online. Epilogue: The Cat Who Sat Still. One rainy morning, a tiny kitten was left at the doorstep, orange fur, green eyes. Momo and Sora looked at each other and smiled. The story wasn't over. It had just begun again. Moral of the story: even the smallest dreamers can create the biggest changes. Kindness builds communities, furry or otherwise. With a little help and a lot of heart, anything is possible.